Welcome to the Chelsea Flower Show in a very unexpected turn of events, because we are coming back later in the week with Davey, but because of you, we're here on press day.
It's press and celebrities only. You get to see the show, like very few people get to see the show. There's hardly anyone here. You actually get to preview the show before the royal family.
I do like to preview it for them, just check it all.
So take some notes and guide them round.
This is amazing. Honestly, it's a totally different experience, and you will all get to experience it with us because we're going to go around and see some of the designers.
Yep. So I work for the Society of Garden and Landscape Designers. Half the gardens at the show are designed by our members. We go on the gardens as we have in previous years, but without all the crowds to fight for you to get there.
Idyllic. And I think most of you will recognise Andy. Do you recognise the person that was out in the mud planting the gazebo?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Every time we watch it, I sort of sit there and I think, there's a little bit of I go, I helped that. I did part
It looks amazing.
It's going to be there as part of the Chateau's history and your history.
Absolutely.
And all those memories.
We're going to go around and see all of the gardens now before it's open to the public. So if you're coming later this week, this will give you an idea of which gardens you'd like to see. And if you can't come at all, then at least you'll see lots of the gardens here. And again, when we come back later in the week, I'll carry on filming. This is absolutely spectacular. And this is Joe Thompson's garden. It's called the Glass House Garden. As you can see, the BBC are here filming today. But actually, when we come back, we should be able to chat to Joe and have a whole walk around this garden, which will be so exciting. It is beautiful. This is Thomas Hoblin's Garden of Compassion for Hospice UK. It's totally different. You see a much more arid landscape. I love the fact that here we are in the middle of London, and yet these designers are managing to create totally different landscapes, habitats, even climate styles, just in the middle of London. It's absolutely spectacular. And this is another great example of that, totally different again. This is the King's Trust Garden by Joe Perkins. Look at all of the poppies.
I love those yellow flowers as well. What is that, like a yellow alphinium?
I don't know. Oh, the ones in the background, you mean? I think they're wonderful.
Sunshine in a flower.
I'm with Joe from the Freedom to Flourish Garden.
That's right. So it's based loosely on the colloquialism of slow you down, which is part of the North Norfolk lifestyle, really. What happens in the garden is we have a tidal regulated kind of water feature that cuts you off in the garden and sort of enforces a moment of rest. So we were struck when we moved to Norfolk. The lifestyle is just so different from the pace that we'd moved out of London and into kind of rural coastal England. And we were just struck by this idea that the rhythms of nature were dictating people's life rather than this idea that we need to be rushing all the time. So what happens is the path floods essentially and kind of holds you captive in the space.
I love this idea. I think I could do with it in the garden.
I know, and we've not really revealed the timings of the flood, so it's quite interesting. People are in and they're kind of itching to see when it's going, and that's the point, is trying to enforce you to kind of get on board with nature's time frame. And so you get this lovely moment when the water just drops below the grill, where the tension of the water kind of snaps and you can start to see the mesh coming through.
So we're nearly there.
We're very nearly there.
This is such good fun.
I know, it is good, isn't it?
it?
Who'd have thought waiting would be so much fun?
Yeah, this is it. All right.
Have you got high heels?
No, I can go.
Okay, good.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
Yeah, it's really good fun until the tide comes in and you have to wait.
I hope you have supplies over this side for moments.
We do. We have a glass of water and a chair. That's all you need. And then we come up here to really the kind of crowning glory of the garden, which is our deck. This is a reclaimed green hearth. What we try to do with the whole garden is use unhurried materials, so nothing in the garden is rushed, even the very fabric of the garden itself. So you couldn't achieve this look in a hurry, you have to wait.
This timber was sourced from Hythe on the east coast, and it was a company that was actually taking in the sea defences. So what they do, they're taking the sea defence, and if you look at the timber closed, you can see there's little nibble marks on it, which would have been created by a gribble, a little mollusk called a gribble.
Oh, what a great name for
Yes. And so where the tidal section is, like below the tidal section, the timber's fine. Above the tidal section, timber's fine. The middle bit is where the gribble plays. So there's little crustaceans still
Oh, fabulous.
in there. And they always go where the bolt hole is because it's easy pickings.
It's been gribbled.
So this is green heart, which would have originally grown in Guyana, British Guyana, and it grows very slowly, very densely in the Amazon rainforest. If we can reuse this beautiful timber, durable timber, again and again, it will reduce the virgin material coming into the country. My son Ed is the one who actually machined all this ready to come onto the garden.
Oh, that is impressive.
These boards are full of character, and they really are a bit of a standout piece when you put them in the garden. It really draws your eyes to it because of all that gribble and character and attention to it.
It doesn't feel brand new.
And
That's
that's
always been here.
exactly, and that's what we want to keep the history in the timber, but we also are aware it needs to be usable for the people installing it. So what we've done is we've kept the faces with the character, and then we've milled the sides so it's square and it's workable, and they're able to actually install it in a fashion that it's safe, and it looks, as you can see, it looks amazing. And
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Can I just say it's worth pointing out how they've cut it in around the sheep pile.
good job.
This isn't a dense tropical timber. It's not for the faint-hearted. Well, blunt blades for fun. And they have artistic work they've put into that, into cutting into the piles.
I think when people think of the Chelsea Flower Show, they think about plants, they think about flowers, and they don't realise the work that goes into the construction of the gardens themselves, the hard landscaping.
The detail is exceptional. Yeah, definitely.
We work with the plants all the time, and we work with these materials all the time. It's only when you're really intensely doing a show garden that you sort of take a step back and you think, oh, that works really well. So we've got the filaria here. The new growth comes out in a rusty red, which we knew, but never paired intentionally with the rust. When they're together, you get the two and you think, well, that's handy. And the same with the Salix, Rosmarinifolia. The new stems are all red, which again, something we knew but hadn't clocked. It looks like I think it's best not to sometimes intentionally force all these things, but as you put things together, you get these little surprises where you think, oh, that's come together really well.
Didn't I do that?
Oh yes, look at me. No, but I think nature does that. I think it has these little gifts that when you start putting things together that work in harmony.
This is so harmonious. It's absolutely extraordinary. And it feels totally natural and as though it's always been here.
Oh well, that's all thanks to things like the timber, and the stone has an age, and the steel, everything with an age brings with it centuries of quality that you can't create in a hurry.
Thank you for showing us.
No, you're very welcome. We're trapped now for another 48 minutes. Please take a seat, you know. I'd say drink the water, but that's ornamental water. You can't drink it.
Does it come from there?
I don't think that's drinkable. And earlier we had someone on it drinking. I was like, please don't drink it. It's meant to stay clear.
This is the life. Definitely not going to drink this water. We've come over to Agriframes, garden structures, because how gorgeous are these? There's one in particular we've fallen in love with. This zinc planter and this enormous obelisk in it with a rambling rose going over it. And we're just thinking how beautiful this would look on the terrace at Lalande with the lovely new garden furniture that we've got this year. And I also wish Pavlina and Ombeline were here because I want to show them this framing for peas and beans with the robe. It's just so pretty, and it would go really well with the lovely arches that we've already got in the vegetable garden. It is so great. There is inspiration everywhere we look. We're here to look at gardens, and Philip spotted his favourite clothes shop that he comes to every time we're at Chelsea. And look at that, you're a vision in peach.
I'm no longer cold. This is amazing.
We never dress appropriately for Chelsea.
Actually, you dressed me this time, which is, I should have known.
That was your mistake. It's always my
I
fault.
said, wear a jumper. I'm going to wear something warm.
You look great. I love it. The little peach of my heart. Now, this is one of the gardens that Philip and I have both been looking forward to the most. This is by Kazuyuki Ishihara, and it's the Japanese tea garden. Kazuki Ishihara has become an absolute legend at Chelsea. He's been making gardens here for about 20 years. He pretty much introduced moss to Chelsea because that beautiful Japanese way of using moss is often in evidence in his gardens. And, well, this year is no exception. Look at those stunning clumps of moss and the old rocks. And then a tea pavilion in the background. Oh, Philip. Imagine being in there, a nice cup of tea, that's what we need.
Oh, nice porcelain.
You're thinking about the porcelain, I'm thinking about the tea.
They're both essential to the same thing.
You're right, and do you know what I think they're more essential than? I think they're more essential than champagne. Actually, tea I cannot live without.
I can't live without porcelain. I always love these amazing like shapes.
In the gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never really managed to nail that in the courtyard at Lalande. And also acers, because I know how much you love acers.
Love them.
And you love any trees with red leaves.
But also, there used to be a tree like this in my parents' front yard when I was growing up. I think I fell out of it once, but it's the last time I tried it.
This one is spectacular against the lime green of the tree behind it.
Okay. You know what stuns me with this garden with all the other ones is that they feel like they've always been here.
How do they do that?
Like been progressing over 40 years or 30 years, and they were built in a week.
We could do with these teams at Lalande, couldn't we?
Oh my god, finished projects.
We should say that. Do you do interiors? Oh, this is beautiful as well. Look, this lovely path meandering through. Isn't it amazing to be able to come this close up to the gardens? I mean, we are always very blessed at the Chelsea Flower Show because Andy takes us around and we go onto the gardens. You can't usually do that, obviously, but I must say that on press day, the gates are open, people are wandering through the gardens. It's a dream being here today. I'm with Sally, one of the designers of the Vatican Wilderness Retreat balcony, which is, I think, where we should stay for the rest of the day, actually, Bella, because, I mean, it's so beautiful. And it has a bath and heather everywhere.
Yeah, balconies are very high rise, windy, and I was up in Scotland and we were actually going to be going to the Orkneys and we couldn't get there because it was so windy, and the correlation between the two environments really struck us both.
So you realised when you were in that windy environment, unable to get to Orkneys, that the plants that survived there would survive the high rise with the high winds.
Yes,
That's genius.
Yes, yeah.
Really
Well, you're higher. Is the correlation between the two environments felt quite similar, really. My husband loves distilleries, and a part of a trip to Scotland is not the same without a trip to a distillery.
It is absolutely not.
Yeah, you have your bracing walk, wind, midges, sun, you get it all up there, and then you have a go to the distillery and you have a nip of whiskey. So the copper came from that. That's the outside of a boiler, so that's the difference between the inside and the outside.
Oh, so this is the inside of a boiler,
and that's an outside.
This is genius.
Yes, a lot of copper boilers on.
And you did this so that when you're on the balcony, you don't feel as though you're in the flat at all. You're working in there all day, and like, you just shut out that work.
Well, so many people are office bound in front of computers, and it's not that you don't love your work and you're passionate about it, but you just need a break every now and then. You need something that takes your mind off what you're doing. So you want to shut off the inside and say, give me a break. I'm going to get in that bath. It's going to be quite cold, but I won't be thinking about what I need to do for a while, and I'm just going to sit on my little stool and just relax. That's what this garden is all about, just having that invigoration and have a breakfast whiskey. Good way to start your day.
Yeah, I think we'd all agree with that.
Which I have actually done today. Not in the bath. The bath is the icy lock that you go and have your dip. You know, people love swimming.
racing.
Yeah, that's it. And then you've got the heathers everywhere. Heathers. People don't like heathers.
How can anyone not like them?
Yeah, but they're just so gorgeous and brilliant pollinators all through the winter.
And you have very unusual ones.
Very unusual ones. So this one, it's called Creepy Crawly, and it's probably, he doesn't think anyone else in the country will have this because he says people don't want heathers. You know, garden centres don't want heathers.
So you're bringing back the heather.
We are bringing back heathers, and you know, this is what you get in any balcony. You know, if you've got a high-rise flat, we're saying work with what you've got.
Yeah.
And actually put something with it that makes it beautiful. So we've taken really two quite retro things, I think, heathers and, you know, this rough cast render, and tried to make them very cool and very contemporary.
And do you think you're the only garden in Chelsea to be using heather?
I haven't seen a heather anywhere else. I might have to go and have a look, but no, I can't imagine.
How can anyone not love it?
But they're brilliant for planting with as well. They just sort of fill a space. I mean, that's at the end of its season.
And these
yes,
are
Cirsiums.
beautiful.
Yes, yeah. They are a popular Chelsea choice because they come out in the
Yes,
so
they are gorgeous.
Yeah, Cirsium. Obviously, we're all trying to get peat free these days as well.
Yes.
And sheep wool, which a lot of sheep farmers actually have to pay for people to take the sheep's wool away. It's an unused product. And we've lined all of our pockets with a felt made from it, which helps absorb moisture. And we've used it as a mulch because one of the big issues with balconies is the wind exposure. And that wind actually probably takes away more moisture than sun. So if you mulch on top of it, you're going to reduce that loss. And it's just quite cool, actually.
It looks so good as well.
Yeah.
And actually, it brings a touch of Scotland, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's Hebridean, not quite the Kangles, Hebridean.
I spotted a Hebridean sheep straight away. I looked over there, I thought that's from there,
exactly.
Hebridean. This is just a heaven of a balcony. I wish that we could have this in the city, especially
Well, you could.
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for showing us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You know, now each year that we come, we spot our gazebo. It's looking good there, but I think it now, for the first time ever, looks better at Lalande. Every other year it's been looking so much better here, but finally our plantings come out and now it's gorgeous.
I like that table too. It looks like
Oh my goodness, I love the table. Oh, imagine that on the terrace. It would be stunning. Shall we have a little look at the plants?
I would love to have a look at the plants.
This is the Great Pavilion, and we're going to go around and see what new plants there are this year. I mean, we could spend the entire time just in the roses section.
For the scent alone.
The scent is amazing. Look at these beautiful roses. This one is mind-blowing. Patio climber and on a beautiful obelisk, but the depth of that red. And look at the bench. Imagine a bench like that, just covered with roses. And there are roses for noses and noses for roses. I think we have noses for roses. Just going past all the tree ferns, each stand is so different. See what I meant? Each stand is so different. Gladioli heaven. I'm with Lawrence, so you're the head gardener for Newby Hall.
Yes, in North Yorkshire.
Which looks absolutely stunning. Lawrence has just been telling me that these would look really good at Lalande.
Yeah, so these are Cornus Cusa, and we've got Cusa crosses, and these are the dogwoods, flowering dogwoods, and people will be familiar with the stemmy dogwoods that we grow for that lovely winter interest, but these are flowering in early summer, and they're fantastic for pairing with that late spring, early summer garden. The big showy one at the top is Venus, and they're amazing woodland trees, perfect for Lalande as you start expanding out into that woodland. And they're followed by fruit in the autumn, which is edible, and then amazing autumn colour as well. So they're sort of
Oh, they've got good autumn colour. Okay.
tree for all seasons.
You're making me realise we need to just keep expanding the garden into the woodland, having more things like this.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope we'll come and visit you and you will all see your amazing gardens.
Yeah, we have a national collection of 100 specimens, and so it's the perfect place to come and look, see what you want, then take back to Lalande.
Fabulous, thanks. Right in the centre of the whole pavilion is a huge garden going all the way through the entire pavilion. And we're going to go and meet the designer and find out more about it. I'm with Max now in front of his incredible garden, Moments of Reflection.
So this is UBS and RHS sponsored garden, and it sits at the heart of the Great Pavilion, and the theme is about the grounding effects of going for walks in natural environments. So at the front here we've got a water rill which houses aquatic plants, so very calm, very tranquil, and we walk down the very formal avenues into a wooded area, and then we momentarily ascend into highland planting, and so it's a lot more intimate, a lot more enclosed, slightly softer, and then we descend and we journey into a slightly more vibrant, colourful planting scheme at the back, which is meant to represent promise and optimism.
I love the way that you had to work around the obelisk.
The idea was very much to incorporate that almost as something that you sort of discover whilst you're walking through this highland setting. It's nice that we also accentuate and exaggerate the appearance of it with this water rill.
How did you end up getting what is the biggest garden at Chelsea? Because it is honestly bigger than the main show gardens outside.
So it's just under double the size of a main avenue garden, which is it's amazing to be able to work on this. I've described it as a bit of a pinch me moment, to be honest. It's if I thought of myself doing this 5 years ago, I'd be fairly jealous and envious of my positions.
How did you get into gardening? What made you take that path?
So I fell in love with it probably when I was about 13 or 14. I came away from it momentarily and did creative advertising, and then came back to garden design afterwards because there was a bit of a pull. I just kept getting a calling from the garden. It's where I feel most at peace.
But is it peaceful when you're making a garden for Chelsea?
Oh, good. No, not quite. I wouldn't put those two words together. Just flower and peace. It's. I sort of describe it as if you were climbing Mount Everest. When you're doing it, you're going, "What am I? Why? Why would I endure this?" But then you get to the summit and you look around and go, not everyone gets to do this. It's a beautiful sight, it's a beautiful view to have. Now it feels good.
And now you can see the joy that it's getting to everything. Like, all these people are just sitting in your garden feeling complete peace in the middle of Chelsea Flower Show.
Yeah, it's really nice actually. It's nice that people can take a moment just to sit for themselves.
This is the highlight.
Actually, one of the great things about this year's sponsorship was that we were supporting 4 different nurseries who specialise in different planting environments, and one of them was alpines and highland plants. There was a lot of plants which I haven't really come across before, so not only was this a very rich experience for me, but also very enriching for sort of plant exposure. I think the palette here is very soft, quite natural, so it's just nice to have these pops of colour. What we have here is a traditional squeeze style, so this is what dry stone walls would install to stop livestock going through. We can fit through, but obviously the livestock can't. Fat sheep can't get through that, so we can.
No to fat sheep.
Yeah.
That is great. I haven't seen this before.
Yeah, well, so this was actually one solid piece of stone. We used a traditional method to split it, and it split perfectly. You've got these drill holes at the back here, and then you nail these nails into it. It splits all the way down.
And I love the plants coming out of the side of the dry stone as well.
It's a nice opportunity to get some alpines in.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Round here we're going to woodland.
Woodland is next. So we've got lots of epimedian, some Phylloxera, some Samuras, Aurelia cordata, that's quite a fun plant. Otosporum in particular, it's quite a crowd pleaser. Yeah, very modest.
Very pretty.
Do you have a particular planting palette that you quite like?
No, but we have a lot of woodlands where I live. So I'm always really interested in the woodland section to try to make it look like not just bramble swatches.
Oh, that's really
But we have a lot of ferns, at least. I do like ferns, but this is stunning. This is what it should look like at home.
Well, I'm sure there's lots of bugs and insects which appreciate the slightly wilder brambles.
Yeah, they're different.
We have this sort of talks area, this Ramblers Rest. A really fun part of this design is that we're really celebrating craftsmanship. So we've got the dry stone walling, we've got the traditional joinery, and obviously the thatch work, which I had 3 thatchers working on this for 6 days. The idea is I love using traditional building methods in quite contemporary ways, so that we would just want to, I think it's important that these things stay relevant.
I love the fact that along the top it's as though it's still growing. It's almost as though you're looking out at the field along the top.
Yeah, well, don't notice that.
Now, rumour has it that David Austin is launching a rose that they've been working on for 25 years, and this is one of their most important launches. So let's go and find out more about it. This is beautiful. I don't know if it's the white climber maybe, because it's everywhere, so perhaps that's the big new rose. I have no idea. But I'm just distracted by everything and the scent in here. Rose de Recht.
These 2023, the white climber is from 1876. So
1876? No, not a new launch. This was last year's launch, Emma Bridgewater, this dusky coloured rose.
Beautiful.
I think I'd love to plant that at home. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful stand. It's like the perfect English garden. What is this one?
English shrub rose.
The King's Rose.
That's from this year, so this is this one.
That is magnificent. But magnificent.
I can't stress how amazing the smell is.
Yes.
Scent.
So, in collaboration with the King's Foundation, it is spectacular. It must be this. It's the most beautiful rose. The King's Rose.
The King's Rose.
Wow.
You heard it here first?
I will. There is so much to see, and we'll look at more of the new plants when we come back later in the week. But for now, I just want to run around and see as many gardens as I can. Time is going so quickly. This is the 3rd year that the Newt have sponsored the Chelsea Flower Show, and they always make their own garden here. Last year, it was the most incredible Roman villa, and this year, it's really fascinating. It's a sort of rock garden with just succulents. It's incredible, so arid, so desolate, so sculptural. It's like being on the face of the moon. And this, in the centre of London, is just what I was saying earlier about the totally different landscapes that you see as you're walking through.
I love the floor. It's just one of those Roman floors.
Isn't it gorgeous? Yes, it's absolutely beautiful. And again, you get that sense that it's been here forever.
I wouldn't mind this somewhere.
It is very, very lovely.
It might look really good somewhere in the vegetable garden, for example, a little bit more rustic.
Yeah, I think so. And look at these. That's like aliens. I love them, actually.
Look at the eggs.
I think an ostrich has just been passed this way.
Yeah, I think went to a champagne bar.
Oh my goodness, can you imagine Natty and Pavlina if instead of peacocks we had ostriches? Like, oh, another 3 this year.
I would actually love goats, but I know that Pavlina is not that keen.
Oh, it spits at you. Oh my goodness, there was one over here spat at you. Oh, this is so good.
I reckon there's a spitting witches.
Yeah. It's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. Will I get past? Do not touch that thing, Philip. Well done.
Thank you. It was a very difficult process.
Yeah, now we deserve to find the lost treasure. Where is the lost treasure? There must be some treasure around here somewhere.
I was hoping there was going to be like a little sofa here or something, but nope.
I'm with Jen and Catherine on the Room to Breathe Hospital Garden. The most calming, restful space.
Thank you. The sort of full name of the garden is the Room to Breathe Hospital Garden for the TSA, and the TSA stands for the Tuberous Sclerosis Association, which is a rare genetic condition which my 15-year-old son has. I drew on my own inspiration of the time when my son, when he was 4, was in hospital and he had to have a brain tumour removed. And my memories of that time, amongst other things, were the sitting on a clinical corridor on a plastic chair, waiting for news of the operation, and just thought, actually, wouldn't it be marvellous if you had somewhere you could actually just get outside? Yeah. And hence that was sort of the inspiration behind coming up with Room to Breathe, creating a space for a parent who is in hospital with their child to get out, get away from the ward, get away from all those alarms and the noises and the busyness, and just have a chance to regroup, recharge, and then go back into the offices.
And this will actually be going to a hospital?
It is going to a real-life hospital, yes.
It's going to Amersham Hospital in Buckinghamshire, where Jen and I both volunteer, rejuvenating some of the gardens. We'll reimagine this garden into a much larger space, but it actually means that so many more people can enjoy the garden.
I think it's going to make such a difference to people in one of the hardest moments of their life, just to give a little solace here.
Yeah. So we've focused particularly on a green and white theme as to really kind of bring the kind of calming elements to it, and then we've got some pops of burgundy just to create a little bit of depth so it's not completely monotone.
I love the way that you have it on different levels as well, so you're totally enveloped by it.
You are, and that was the point, was to feel completely enveloped when you were here. And actually, if you're sitting in the chair, the views you get through the chair, the planting is at sort of eye level, so you really sort of see the planting from where you're sitting.
Everything about what we're doing is views that you get. So when you're sitting in here, this circular shape frames the view that you actually have looking out, which is just, it's absolutely amazing. And we love this chair, and it just represented that cocooning. It really is a metaphor for a hug. And we loved that about this, and we felt that really brought this concept alive, and people just get it. You get that is a really comfortable space to sit, and you never really want to get out that chair.
This is my Chelsea highlight. I think we're not going to look at any other gardens, actually. I'll stay here. Could you bring me coffee, possibly?
I can have space for a second person.
There would definitely be space for a second person. It's so wonderful, because when you're in here, you can actually see all of the plants around you. So I love these cocooning things, but this is so much better because you feel nature around you all the time, even though you're sort of safe and tucked away.
We are friends from when our children were young. We're both career changers, so I decided to take a break from my old corporate career 5 years ago now, and then applied to the London College of Garden Design. And then shortly after I'd started, Catherine
said, oh, I'm really very envious of that. We'd both done a couple of gardening courses before, and just chatting one day, I was like, I'm so envious. And so I signed up then to KLC. And
it's so inspirational. You just followed your passion.
Yeah. We've worked on a couple of shared clients together, and actually I think we just work really well together. And when we sort of said, well, let's do this, it's a great way to be able to support one another. And it's been really amazing to just share the journey and the load.
But did you think when you left your corporate job that you'd actually get visiting at Chelsea?
No way, not at all.
That is a dream come true.
It is a real, I do feel like I've just, waking up, I'm in a dream.
And your dream that is going to help, I think, a lot of people.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes.
So
it really is Room to Breathe.
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you so much for showing us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is the Wildlife Trust British Rainforest. forest garden. Just love that waterfall. It looks so natural. I would love something like that in the woods at Lalande as well.
Amazing.
Just looking as though it's always been there. Yeah. There's just inspiration around every corner. So it is like Lalande. Yeah. Definitely feel at home here. This is the sea wilding garden, inspired by the Scottish lochs, especially those by the coast. It's just, oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that, Philip. I can't believe I walked past that. It's wonderful. You can just see below the waterline. No dogs are allowed in the Chelsea Flower Show, except this year one dog was allowed in because Monty Don has designed his first garden for Chelsea. He's obviously here every year reporting from Chelsea, but his garden is for the RHS, so it won't be judged, and he's made a garden for dogs so that they are the nation's favourite companion and they deserve a lovely garden. So in his garden there is a lawn for dogs to play on, there's a sofa and an old jacket or a blanket for a dog to lie on. We should try and find that and have a look. Well, that's his garden over there. He's chatting away being filmed. The BBC have priority on the first day of filming. They are filming all over the place at the moment. There's lots of big equipment. So the gardens that we can't visit today, we'll be visiting when we return later in the week. There go the BBC film crews. We were just walking past this stall and I thought I would show it all to you. It's Harrod Horticultural, and I just love the furniture and the planters, especially these along the back wall, because they're very narrow. They'd fit into even the smallest garden, but look how grand it makes it with a trellis going up above it. These are absolutely beautiful, and I'm also getting a little bit peckish, so maybe that's why I'm so drawn to the tables as well. I can definitely imagine all of this furniture at Lalande. And isn't it great to actually be able to look at it without thousands of people in the way? I'm really excited about this because I'm back with Manoj, who I think many of you will remember we chatted to before here in a beautiful, beautiful garden. This is spectacular.
My journey with this garden started when I was approached by Vive Healthcare, my sponsor. They are the largest pharmaceutical company that create HIV medication. And so this garden is actually inspired by that medication, or more so the molecular structure of that medication. So when I saw the molecular structure and I saw these hexagons, I thought, I've got something tangible that I can actually work with here. I started playing around with different hexagon dimensions, and the more I did that, I saw these dynamic shapes coming through. And the more I played around with hexagons, I thought, actually, do you know what? I can work this through in the whole of the design. So I then started elevating those hexagons upwards and created this incredible pergola here, just on the seating area, which is also a hexagon shape. I've got the water wall there that is made up of really small hexagons, but the water's kind of flowing over it. And the sound that it's making is because each hexagon is set at a slightly different direction. So as the water flows over it, you create that gorgeous sound.
It's so clever, because actually we're quite far from it here.
And you can still hear it.
It's so clever.
Yeah, and it's really gentle, but it's still actually audible.
It's very soothing.
Yeah. The whole idea is that as you come through from this direction and you stop at that bridge, you'll notice that there is actually no safety barrier or safety net to the water. Now, the reason why I've kept that open like that is because when somebody is first diagnosed as being HIV, they are going to have a sense of vulnerability, a sense of fear, and I want the visitor to kind of experience that sense of vulnerability and fear. But then you take your first step across the bridge, and that is your leap of faith. Your leap of faith in the medication, but also to be able to receive help and support. And as you go forward and go into the seating area, that is your space to have support, empathy, when you get hugged by nature as well. Yes, yeah.
Sanctuary.
Absolutely, that's what you want. And I think that sense has been created by all of that beautiful planting around
You feel
it.
enveloped by nature.
You do.
What I love about Manoj's gardens is there's always this massive explosion of colour and an absolute exuberance and masterful ability to mix colours that you think wouldn't work together, but actually work so perfectly when you put them together. There's a gorgeous coral peony there, just next to purples and orangey yellows. This entire wall is a mass of planting with, you see, fennel going through it. And I am having to hold back from eating little bits of it right now. And it's just amongst this persicary and purple fantasy, which I think, Philip, you've fallen madly in love with it, haven't you? But isn't that wonderful? Just putting fennel in the garden like that, and that wispiness just adds such an amazing texture. And there's a huge leaf just on the other side of the waterfall, and apparently once it establishes, it sends up a big spike with a flower on it, and I've fallen in love with the leaf, and I think it will look really pretty at Lalande.
You'll also notice these gorgeous sculptures. They've been produced by a friend of mine called Ralph Dawkins, just as a gentle, respectful nod to what has happened in the past, the lives lost to HIV and AIDS. But I also wanted them to be ethereal so that you can see through them to a more positive
A
future.
brighter future.
Exactly.
And you've mixed the power of nature with the power of words.
Yes,
here.
correct.
I see you have resilience.
Correct, and then we've got innovation because the actual medication has advanced so much. I've got hope here, and then thrive over there. And they're just little poignant messages as visitors come through the garden. They stop, they look at this word, and it just makes them think about stigma and how we can help to eradicate that stigma. Because actually, there is no need for it. In this day and age, people who are HIV positive can actually live very fulfilled lives, and they should be part of everyday life and everyday community.
Absolutely, and I think you have it there with hope and innovation, because those two together have changed the future.
Correct.
They've absolutely changed the outlook for anyone with HIV.
Correct, absolutely. So it's really important that we drive this message forward to make sure that the stigma that is associated with HIV, and it still exists, that we try and eradicate that.
And you have an important message on this actual bench.
We do. So undetectable equals untransmittable, and that means that once somebody is diagnosed as being undetectable, they can no longer transmit the disease to somebody else.
And I think not everybody knows that.
No, and
so
it's
important.
such an important message, and this is the reason why people need to know that actually the medication has advanced so much that people can live normal lives.
It's a wonderful world we live in when you compare it
Absolutely.
to what it was 40 years ago. My
Exactly.
goodness, how far we've come.
Exactly.
Well, a beautiful garden, Manoj, but a very important one as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is the Avanard Intelligent Garden by Tom Massey, and the wonderful thing about this garden is it's all based on the idea of using AI in the garden. So there are sensors throughout that can feed back information to the gardener, letting them know if the plants are healthy, if the trees are healthy, what the state of the watering is. It almost makes me feel as though I would be able to look after a garden, because these are all the things that I get wrong.
I've been dying to see the treehouse from the inside. Let's go and have a look.
Philip, do you think I need better equipment? Chateau Diaries goes big. You'll be driving it around.
Got comfortable. She's soon there.
Ooh, can we go up in here?
Yeah, okay.
I love it. Every time we've walked past, Philip's like, I want to go in the treehouse.
Also giving you back.
Oh my goodness. Can I show everyone? I am obsessed. Actually, not with the unicorn, though the unicorn is fabulous, but with the giant mushrooms. Isn't that really Alice in Wonderland?
And I love the birds. How much personality they've got.
Oh, it's fabulous. My goodness, this is perfection. And look at the way it's constructed. So
Look
pretty.
at the windows. They've been drawn on.
It's heaven. Oh my goodness, it's actually heaven.
Got like little stars that flicker on the ceiling.
Oh, look at the window seat. Like a nook where you can just look out. Oh, over the whole of Chelsea Flower Show. Even a little waterfall from this window.
This is wonderful.
Can you imagine this? In the woods at Lalande.
If we didn't have the garden salon to renovate,
Yeah.
we could put this one in the forest somewhere.
If I had this in the forest, this would be what I edited. This would be the editing nook. Oh my goodness. Sort of bedditing on there, really. I love the sconces as well. Everything is so beautiful. Imagine that at night.
Really magical.
It's incredible. Would you like to join me on the armchair, sir?
Why if you say so?
Oh, I do. I think I do. They're giant. I can see my mother falling madly in love with.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I know what it needs. We walk past a stall selling lobster rolls, champagne. That is the only thing that would improve this space. That and its location being in the forest at Lalande. This is one of my favourite things so far at the Chelsea Flower Show. So if you're coming to visit in the next few days, don't forget to check out the treehouse. We would spend a lot longer in here, but there is a whole show to see out there and lobster rolls to locate. What did we say we needed up there? Lobster rolls and champagne.
Yes.
We'll look at the champagne. And this is reminding me of COVID. A little pulley to take it up.
Amazing.
They really have thought of everything. Just walking around is such a joy. I could spend the entire time strolling through the avenues here. Even the established trees that have nothing to do with the gardens. Beautiful. We've spotted the most beautiful stall, incredible fabrics, and it's Susie Watson design. So you are Susie Watson.
I am Susie Watson, who started it all when I was about 50.
I love the fabric on the sofa.
Isn't it lovely?
That's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Philip's in his happy place.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
The little bees.
Yeah.
Have you seen the rabbits? Here.
Oh, I love that.
I knew you'd love that.
Summer hares. It's quite joyful, isn't it?
It is.
I love a little necklace and a
Some
car.
my rabbits.
Yeah, summer hares and summer rabbits. Quite right.
These are
entirely handmade.
beautiful.
I love that. And I love green and pink together. It's my favourite.
I know you're Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing gets past me.
So if you're thinking the Chelsea Flower Show is just gardens, it is definitely not just gardens, and Philip keeps getting completely rerouted into interior design shops. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Because that's your father's aunt, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, this is Daddy's.
Really? Oh, isn't it wonderful? God, is it joyous? Look at the colours. Is that fabulous?
Yes, he had amazing colours always. I've been waiting for lobster rolls all day. We just got here and they've just closed. It's because the royal family are arriving, so the show closes earlier today, and I think everyone's going to be leaving really soon. So when we come back later in the week, I have my sights on a lobster roll. So Andy, this is your world at Chelsea. It's fantastical, beautiful world.
For 2 years running, we've now run our stand as a competition to our members to design the stand. And our stand design this year was run by Rachel Emis Austin from Austin Design Works.
It's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous.
It shows the dream, design and reality of using a professional garden
I
designer.
see. So you're following it through from the first stage of design.
We have the sketch stage, the little nursery rhyme Mary Mary Quite Contrary. So we've got cockle shells and silver bells represented there. And then we go through to the middle section where we're going technical design.
Yes.
So it's like the instruction kit up through this archway, which has been CNC cut, and then it comes through into reality where it's fully painted, and then behind we have one of a built garden that I've done.
Oh, you did this?
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's such a clever design, and even more importantly, a really beautiful one that you want to step into. This rose is Mary Delaney by David Austin, and I can't describe the scent. I think we have to plant this somewhere because really it's all about the scent. It doesn't matter how pretty it is, the scent is even more beautiful. See you so soon. Thank you so much, Andy. It's been amazing. We're having to leave now, and we have barely scratched the surface. I don't know how we've ever coped with just one day before. I'm so happy that we're coming back later in the week. Look at all the police dogs. They're here, all the sniffer dogs, checking everything's safe before the royals arrive. And they and Monty Don's dog are the only dogs allowed here today. Otherwise, I can assure you, Galahad would have been trotting along beside us. We're going to get our bus and go home now. And the next Chateau Diaries will be on Thursday night from London. It'll be very exciting because we're meeting some lovely, lovely people here tomorrow, but there'll also be news from back home at Lalande. If you can't wait till Thursday for all of my patrons, there will of course be the patron video on Wednesday night. For the rest of you, I will see you on Thursday, and I can't wait to chat to you all then. You are an angel, I can't believe it!
I think after seeing all those beautiful flowers in Chelsea, we need to have some flowers for the flats because it's a bit of something.
Well, it was
bare concrete floor.
Yeah, on a bare concrete
Exactly.
floor in a basement.
So, but it doesn't mean that we can't have a bit of, you know, beauty in it.
And they remind me of the one in Manoj's garden.
They do, right?
I love them. Philip, they're stunning.
It's so
Thank
bright
you.
and cheerful. Like,